Good Saturday. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far, the start of the weekend. It's so beautiful, sunny, the snow. Oh my goodness. And we are in John 14. The Lord brought to me three things: love, service, and humility. I don't know, back in the day, if you all did this at your church a long time ago, or maybe you heard of people doing this, but regularly, I think once a quarter when I was a little girl, the saints at my church, the holy people, would separate themselves. The men would go downstairs, the women would stay upstairs in the sanctuary, and they would fill these big tubs of water where they can carry, and they would place it on the floor, and they would have the towels around their waists. And what would happen? The sisters would take out their shoes, take off their shoes or boots, and they would wash each other's feet. This wasn't just during Easter time or Maundy Thursday, the Thursday before Good Friday. But I want to say that this was a regular occurrence, at least 3 or 4 times a year. And this was in remembrance of what Jesus said. If I can do it, your Lord and Master, surely you can do it. In verse 14 of chapter 13 of John, it says, "If I then, Lord, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet." Pretty much, we're to serve one another. Whatever stature we are able to obtain, whether we become, the ruler, right, the manager, the director of something, we're always to go back to the basics. And we're to love one another and to serve in humility. That was an example. And he said that exactly in verse 15, "For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done." And then he goes into 16, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant, right, is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him." So whatever assignment we have to have the mindset of Christ, that we are always to have a lowliness as far as whatsoever our hand find to do. We should do it with all thy might, where there is no work, device, knowledge in the grave, whither thou goest, as Ecclesiastes 9:10. But still, we're supposed to have a mindset of humility, that we're doing this unto the Lord. Amen. And then later on in verse 34, the reason why we're doing this, we are serving one another in humility, is because Jesus said, "A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this is the proof that people will be convinced that, oh wow, they are the Lord's disciples, because he shows so much love. By this shall all men and women and everyone, children, know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another." So we can't be doing this whole negativity to each other. We're supposed to support one another, pray for each other, comfort each other, right? Bear each other's burdens. That's how the world will be convinced. And I was amazed by the family. But then I was like, no, I'm not amazed, because this man, and I'm sure the family, has the love of God. The young man, the 18-year-old who was shot down, killed at Orland Park Mall, right? And then the family of the slain spokesperson, the uncle, came out and said, listen, we forgive him. And at a later date, if it's okay, we want to be able to talk to him and talk to the family, right? Nothing but the love of God can penetrate through that type of bereavement and hurt and loss, to be able to still extend forgiveness, peace, reconciliation. That's God's power. That's what I'm saying. You can do anything when you have God's anointing in you. And I think about, and on this beautiful Saturday, besides reading the Word, reading Child of the Civil Rights Movement, right? And back then, they used to look out for one another. They loved one another. They would They would all be in one home, multiple families. That's what my parents did. They lived with my grandmother, I think, in the basement, and then there was another a set of siblings that were on the first floor, and they just all congregated. They loved one another. And then I'm reading Africa. Oh, don't get me started. When I went to Ghana, how as soon as we got off the plane, everybody just became family. And I told you all how my son cried when we left Ghana, Africa, because he said the love there was just out of this world. We can have that in Chicago. We can have that in metropolitan areas. We can have that in the United States. But let's make sure that we have the love of God so that we can spread it to everyone else. All right, I hope you have a wonderful remaining of the Saturday. And let's serve with humility and show the love of God to the world. Enjoy.